Let me set up this little light. I thought it was gonna be enough light with this side view, but wait a minute, hold on. Yeah, I've been triggered, so I'm not going to stoop to the level that people think I'm about to stoop to. I'm actually gonna be very gracious with this video. But hold on, let me finish getting my shit together. Right. Okay. Gotta make sure that melanin can be seen. Gotta make sure that we can see that melanin. A little Vaseline on the lips, honey. You know, you gotta put that Vaseline on when you're getting ready to fight. And this is a spiritual fight. This is spiritual warfare. For we wrestle not against flesh, but principles and principalities. And even though I'm not a Bible thumping person, I do believe that some fights are spiritual, but I want to put the bonnet on because this is a bonnet type of video. So I just finished watching Tasha K yell, you know, because she drinks the wine a lot, you know. I like a sip occasionally, but I really don't like to drink all the time because I do find that when I drink, I'm louder, you know, and I have a very powerful voice, you know, so I really don't need to always just be loud because sometimes it just gives off some slapstick, sideshow, step and fetch, Uncle Tom's Cabin type of tease. Like you just, it just takes you back to, the minstrel shows and the chitlin circuit. So, I don't always like to give off that energy. But I could but I could definitely wait a minute. Hold on. Girl, we having some testicle difficulties here, and I ain't got no balls. So when I'm having testicle difficulties, honey. But anyway, I like watching Tasha because, I have relatives. She reminds me of a relative. She reminds me of an auntie, a cousin, So I definitely can relate to her. I'm not gonna say that it's not relatable. The content is not relatable. That I don't find her funny, that I don't laugh at her, that I'm not entertained by her. And I'm not gonna stop watching her because she made the dirty blood comment. Now, why I'm speaking on this is because as a person who has been living with what I like to call the nothingness, the house in Virginia, or for you people who just need it broke down in layman's terms, the H, the I, and the V, for 18 years. And I mean, I'm telling you, like, the stuff that I've experienced and the stuff that I've been through, like, I'm not supposed to still be here. I'm not supposed to be still sitting in front of this camera talking. So many of my friends, sisters, loved ones, I've watched die from complications, the struggle, the struggle is real. Like, this virus has claimed a lot of souls. And it wasn't so much the virus that killed them as it was how they chose to medicate the pain of the diagnosis. People find out, because of the stigma of being positive or because of the stigma of having to live with this virus, people find out, and, some people just get caught up in the quicksand of the diagnosis and they stay stuck there in that pain. And so they start to entertain destructive behaviors. They take on a lot of destructive behaviors and consume a lot of things, like a lot of things that people who are not positive can get away with, but it's starting to catch up to y'all too. A lot of y'all getting diabetes, you're getting cancer, because you're a cancerous person. Not saying that everybody who have cancer deserve it. Let's be clear. I'm not saying everybody who got cancer deserve it, but I'm saying that sometimes the virus fits. It fits. Sometimes it go with you. You know, if you're greedy and you get carried away with certain unhealthy foods and stuff, sometimes the ancestors hook you up with some diabetes to help you get yourself back together because you've been abusing certain things. Sometimes when you always when you're taking on too much and you're doing too much and you worrying yourself and you're stressing yourself out, then you'll start to develop these tumors and just like our body has a way of telling us, or and our spirit speaks to the body, so all of it's connected to what we internalize in our mind and our emotions. Our body will begin to manifest. So HIV is just one illness that affects our body. And for me, when I was young, I had low self-esteem, so I let men use me. I let them use me sexually. I let them use my body. And hey, there was a price. There was a price to pay. You know, and that was being diagnosed with the nothingness because I had low self-esteem because of the religion. And I talk about this all the time, the corruption of our spirituality, how our spirituality was corrupted by this lopsided patriarch praying to this man, worshiping this man, you know what I'm saying, and being ashamed of the femininity and the woman that lived in me, being ashamed of myself because I was whole, because I was my mama and my daddy and more like my mama. And so that shame caused me to carry myself in a manner that made me susceptible to the nothingness, okay? That made me susceptible to that house in Virginia. But let's be clear. I would rather have dirty blood, tainted blood that is troubled with something, because I could take a pill for that. But some of y'all got a dirty soul. Some of y'all got a dirty spirit. Some of you got a dirty mind. Some of you got a toxic mouth. Everything that come out your mouth is toxic. I really honestly, Tasha K's brand is petty and messy more than anything. Like we go to literally see her clown others, and in doing so, act as a clown herself. Like that's what her platform is about. It's she's a female clown, and it's nothing wrong with being a clown. you know, court gestures, you know, were the things that made the kings and the queens and the nobles laugh. They were entertaining. Clowns are valuable, clowns are important. But let's be clear, Tasha is a clown. She's a modern day clown. She's a 21st century clown, and people could take that in a negative way if they want to, but it's the truth. She's a clown. We watch her to cackle. We watch her. The sole purpose that we watch her for is to laugh. We don't go to her to be spiritually enlightened. We don't go to her to receive some type of elevation of the mind, to gain depth, to get a new layer. Every now and then you might get a little piece of that from her, but we go to her to be amused and entertained. And that is what clowns do. When you invite a clown to your party, you want to laugh, you want to be entertained. And that is what most bloggers are. Most of these bloggers out here in these YouTube streets, they're modern day clowns to entertain, who and when you really think about the structure, Who are they trying to impress? They're trying to impress celebrities. They're trying to get clout from celebrities, because celebrities, talking about celebrities and giving praise to celebrities, it's the same dynamic if we look back in the royal days when the kings and queens would be entertained by the clowns, by the court gestures. So that's what a lot of these bloggers are. They talk about the celebrities, the kings and queens. They entertain, them. They tell stories about them. They try to get in interviews with them. They want them to come and share space with them so that they could have notoriety, because the clown and the court gesture, like the court gesture was still a part of the court. So the court gesture was still a noble to a certain degree. Like the court gesture actually has an audience with the king, actually has an audience with the queen. So the court gesture actually has access to nobility, to the royals. So Tasha is a modern day court gesture. She's a modern day clown. And and I'm not condemning it. I'm just calling it what it is. And so when you're dealing with a clown and a court gesture, you have to be prepared for the smoke. And I really honestly can't say that I truly feel empathetic for Bobby because of what they said about him. Because when you step into the ring with sharks, when you swim with sharks, you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared for that. You have to be prepared for anything that come back at you. You know what I'm saying? And nothing like like her saying that about me, it would not have hurt me, because I know who I am, and I know that this virus has stopped nothing. In fact, it's opened my eyes to the type of world that we really live in. It's exposed the hearts and minds of a lot of the people. It showed me people's maturity, their depth. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of misinformation that was being spewed on the live taping with the gay guy, I'm assuming, who was on the show with her, talking about don't let nobody, make sure they don't bite or scratch you or anything like that. And child, like, really, like, don't speak on something. Like, if you was just doing that to be entertaining, but at this point we know that you undetectable means untransmittable. So if a person is taking their medication, that's the least thing that you have to worry about. But what you do need to worry about is this infestation in your mind. What you do need to worry about is this infestation in your spirit. What you do need to worry about is this infestation in your blood. Boom. Like having tainted blood is one thing, but when your soul is tainted, when your spirit is tainted, and your mind and your heart is tainted. See, a lot of y'all always talking about physical diseases, but you don't focus enough on those mental diseases. And you think that because you have wealth and because you have access, because you're being puppeted for this system, that somehow that makes you better. Child, they had overseers on the plantation that was living good, eating good. You know what I'm saying? They was doing well for themselves. So just because you have access, just because you have resources, just because you have a few extra crumbs that them fell off the table for you, it doesn't mean you're better. It just means that you're better at being a puppet. It just means that you're better at putting out the content that massa won't see, the content that keeps us sheep, the content that keeps us lost, the content that keeps us mediocre and mundane and in bondage and servitude to those entities and those forces that are here to oppress us. Like, you're entertaining us, but you're not liberating us. You're just entertaining us while we're in bondage, period. While we got the chains on. You know what I'm saying? You looking nice, you're all dressed up, looking nice, entertaining the slaves for massa. Go on ahead. This is like during Christmas time. Massa give you a little extra. Massa do something special for you. Basically, Massa send in the court gestures to entertain the slaves, and you one of them. You one of the entertainers for the slaves on the plantation. But you ain't here to liberate nobody. You ain't here to free nobody. You ain't here to empower nobody. Let's not tell this lie. A lot of y'all not. Y'all just here to make sure that we don't go out there and tear no shit up, that we don't destroy this, that we don't rebel, that we just be complacent and that we just stay still, and we aspire to sell out to. We aspire to tap dance, you know what I'm saying, and gain favor with Massa up on the plantation too. That's what you here for. You here to make the American dream look like it's something special, like it's something wonderful, so we could aspire to that. That's what you here for. You got your extra crumbs in your pocket. They won't sit up and talk about other people when you really not that much different than them. And it's okay to be who you are, but let's call it what it is, and not make it look like it's something so special, like it's something so extraordinary. No, you just tap dance better. You do it a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? So Tasha K could be compared to a lot of things. Like there's a coon in me. There's a tap dancer in me. Every now and then I put on my tapping shoes, but I can't tap too long though. My trauma won't let me tap too long. I always say mine's like Cinderella. At midnight, everything turned into pumpkins and rats. The magic lasts for a few hours, and then it's pumpkins and rats. I can't. I'm not interested, because the only way you really can get ahead a lot of times is to not be yourself anymore. By the end of it, you're no longer you. But luckily for Tasha K, she's always been a clown. This is who she's always been. She grew up being a clown. So one thing you got to give her is she's being authentic. She's always needed, been driven. I commend her on her work ethic. That's one of the things that I respect about her. I commend her on being able to pull things together, being able to organize, and being able to advance her business and her brand. But if I get in front of the camera and be loud and drag for people and talk other people's business, you know what I'm saying? And I was able to consistently, stay in that mode for 10 years. You should be able to build. But see, I grow. Like my growth won't allow me to do anything like that, because I have to be authentic to who I am. I can't stay in the same place. I can't pretend for anybody to pretend to still be somewhere where I'm not anymore. So while I can find it amusing in other people, and I can find it entertaining that other people can consistently give a certain brand and behave a certain way, for their empire and to build their network, because people don't like for you to change on them. When you're doing business with people, when you're working with people, the way to build solid relationships is definitely not to change on people. Be consistent, because if you're consistent, then your business partners know what to expect from you. So consistency is a great way to build your brand. It's a great way to build your business. And that is why people could say, oh, that's why I don't have what other people have, because when I grow, I'm not there anymore. If I would have stuck with, talking about Jesus and, pigeonholed myself into being a transgender preacher, preaching, talking about King Jesus, I think I would be a lot more successful right now. I think if I would have never strayed away from the binary and I would have been consistent with the preaching about Jesus stuff, I think I would be really successful. Like if I could have been consistent with that for the past 10 years, but I couldn't, because that would have been being dishonest. I would have been deceiving you all. I would have been lying to y'all. I would not have been being truthful with myself. So how can I be truthful with you? And so I needed to grow. So that I could be honest. And that's not where I am anymore. Like Jesus said, like it said in the Bible, the stone has rolled away. I'm not there anymore. I can't pretend to still be where I was just so I can continue to get views and collect money and get paid. I can't do that. When I grow, and people should grow, like 10 years from now, a person should not be talking the same way they was talking 10 years ago. You something should deepen, like your mind should expand, your consciousness should expand. 5 years from now, you shouldn't be doing the same stuff that you were doing 5 years ago. There should be some growth. There should be a deepening and understanding. People say, oh, I'm the same, I ain't changed. Well, damn. You mean to tell me you ain't changed in 10 years? You still the same? You still think the same way you did 10 years ago? Damn. You still think, you look at everything the exact same? Like, people say, oh, you changed on me. I hope so. And meanwhile, I hope you were changing too. I hope you were growing too. So I'm here to learn, I came into this realm to learn, to experience life, and to share that as I learn it. And I think, it's about what we value. It's about what we see as currency. And some people value, these dead white faces on paper, um, these dead white these dead white faces on paper, on green. Some people value that as currency, but I value spiritual knowledge. I value art. I value creativity. I value music. I value loyalty. I value, like, people are currency. Friendship is currency, but a lot of us, we value material things. And while that may build you up right now, when your soul transitions your body, you have no clue, about where you're going, and you can't start to manifest that. You can't start to prepare yourself for the next part of the journey. And that's why so many of y'all be so afraid to die. That's why so many of y'all be around here talking about, you only got one life to live. You better do this, you better do that. I don't see the world like that. And I've spent enough time in meditation and enough time in self-reflection to know that it's more. I've been in tune and connected with the things outside of me enough to know that I am a part of everything. I'm a part of all of it. I'm connected to all of it because I've done the work. So I'm not afraid when it's my time to go and be with my ancestors, or when it's my time to be recycled and reincarnated and go on to the next part of the journey. I'm not fearful of that. Because, see, the thing that being diagnosed with this virus has done for me, it's always let me know, sweetheart, you gotta punch that clock. You gotta date with death. And so I've always had that in the back of my mind. And then I've had death all around me. I've seen friends die. I've seen friends be murdered. I've seen the hardships that women have had to endure. I've seen, when I was in my 20s, when I was young, they were saying the black man wasn't going, most black men didn't make it past the age of 26. So I was dealing with that threat. Being born with male anatomy, I had to deal with that threat. Then when I transitioned, they said most black trans women don't make it past the age of 34. Then I had to deal with that threat. Then they talked about how 1 in every 3 or 1 in every 5 people with HIV, this happens to them. So death has always been prevalent in my life. Death has always been a conversation. And so when you have to deal with conversations about death as much as I have, you try not to become numb. You try not to become complacent, but you do the work. You do the work of understanding who you are. And that is why I focus on my spiritual practices and my faith, which is Laylim Layler, which is about wholeness. So there is space for debauchery and salaciousness. and ignorance and foolery. There's a place for that in being whole, but I also am honor bound to speak with integrity and to also call myself L and to call bullshit on others. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't always sit in front of the camera and entertain you. I can't always just be sitting here just to amuse you and make you laugh. Sometimes I have to have those heavy conversations because my ancestors, the ancestors that have shaped my DNA, that exist within me, the frequency that I vibrate on will not allow me to sit here and be a clown for y'all 24/7. It will not. I can't jump in front of the camera and every time you see me, I'm putting on a show. I'm pretending to be shallow. I'm pretending to be empty. I'm pretending that the only thing that's important to me is material things, or I'm always talking about sex and drugs and money. Like it's a time and place for that because I'm whole. Everything in moderation. It's a time for all things. I have time. I got time for it a little bit. We have a designated time for that. But it is incumbent upon me not to be that person all the time. Not to just sit up here with my booty clapping and, gyrating and, talking about big old pieces of dick and getting that coin and that pay. Because like I said, my value system is different. And see, a lot of people, we always talking about how fake people is, and we always talking about, we always talking about how corrupt people are and how you can't trust nobody. You don't trust yourself. It's because you put value in the wrong things. It's because you don't value people. The same people who say they don't trust nobody and this and that, those are the same people that don't know how to treat the people that are in their life. You don't know how to treat the people that are around you. You put material things before your relationships with human beings. You get back what you put in. If you treat people like shit, then you shouldn't trust them. If you value money more than human beings, then you shouldn't trust nobody. If you trust a dead white man on a green piece of paper more than you trust the people that's around you, then you should you can't expect to have quality relationships with human beings. Our currency, what we see as currency, is a problem because without other human beings, without other beings in life living, without other people who breathe and walk and share this plane with you and live in this dimension with you, what value would your money have if you couldn't go to another human being and barter from them and go to market from them? If you couldn't have them to come over and share their gifts, if they couldn't bless you with their talents, like what value would the money have? So we need to get back to valuing people. We need to get back to valuing energy that people carry. And we need to get back to lifting people up within themselves instead of beating everybody down for the purpose of coming up off a massive. On my spiritual journey, and I'm currently trying to find balance, and it's so difficult. It is. It's very difficult, and it's even more difficult in a reality that prizes imbalance, in a reality that would rather us be off balance. Because if we're off balance, then if I'm running a race Who do you think I want to run against? You think I want to run against people who got good balance? Or you think I want to run with people who off balance? If we running, all of us running, you think I want to run against people who got good balance or people who off balance? If my balance is good and the rest of y'all balance is off, then guess what? I'm about to smoke y'all. So the powers that be, the ones who govern this reality, the ones who have the real power, the ones who pull in the puppet strings of the celebrities and the bloggers that we see, oh, they got balance. They got theirs together. That's why we don't see them. They go to their big meetings and say what they got to say, and then they disappear and go for their trip in the mountains and meditate and go and get their peace and go on their nature walks and, hug trees and speak to the animals and go for swims in the ocean. They take their time and then they come back and they pull the puppet strings again. That's why they're not always in front of the camera. Somebody with power, with real power, you're not gonna see them in front no camera every damn day of the week. Not gonna see them always on Instagram, always promoting themselves, they ain't got time for that. Because they want to make sure that their relationships in the physical world are being kept up. Some people are so invested in their image on social media that their physical relationships are deteriorating. Because see, on the internet, that's where all the sheep at. It's a sucker born every minute on the internet. Baby, this is a sucker born every minute. Every day, a new sucker is getting a cell phone for the first time, opening a computer for the first time, ready to get hacked, ready to get a virus, ready to get lied to. Every day you got a sucker. Suckers, a herd of suckers. So where you think the crooks at? The crooks on the internet. Because they know it's a sucker born every minute and they got access to these suckers. So they get on here and they sell y'all a dream. But behind the scenes, their relationships with human beings are in the trash can. They don't have good relationships with people in the physical world. And see, my relationships, I love my connections and my relationships that I have on the internet. There are so many people that I have not physically met in real life on the internet who have been there for me, who have been a blessing for me, and who have, hey, Mada. There's so many people who have been a blessing to me, who have encouraged me and who have nurtured me, who I have not physically met, and I'm thankful for them. But most of the people that I talk to on the internet that I'm really close with, I know in real life. I've met them. I've been in their home. Like Mada, I grew up with her. And that's why when these studs and these trans men be trying to tell me I don't know nothing about them and I can't say nothing about them, child, my mother is more man than some of these men and still prefer to be called she. My mother is more man than some of these biological men and still prefer to be called she. Now put that in your pipe and smoke it. So when I speak about trans men and I be saying stuff that I be saying, it's because I have a mentor in my life who was born female, who was a womb bearer, who have taught me and who teaches me still, who I learn from. You don't know my circle. You don't know the people who are around me. So a lot of times trans men be trying to come for me like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But my mentor is somebody who didn't feel the need to change pronouns. Because at the end of the day, so much respect for motherhood, so much respect for the matriarch, so much respect for women, but can channel so much masculinity. Period. Like you can channel masculinity and stand in your masculinity and stand in your strength, and you don't have to identify as he. You don't have to identify as a man. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, like it really honestly, a lot of times it be the young trans men, when they be coming into it. Then when they get older, they start identifying differently. They start it's trans masculine, then it's AFAB, and then it's assigned female at birth. The how they identify, it starts to change, when they mature. But when they first come in and they be pumping that testosterone, wearing that testosterone out, pumping that testosterone. I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm a man. Then when you meet them again about 10 years later, about 15 years later, it'd be a whole nother story. But see, Mata ain't never had to go through that. Mata always been comfortable with she. About it, behind the scenes, I know you'd have had the experience to be able to say he, like you'd have went through this, you'd have been tempted by the tea. And you still didn't fall weak. You still didn't fall weak. It still didn't take you away from seeing yourself as she. Like, and at the end of the day, he is inside of she. You feel me? Like if you take the S off, you get he. He already there. He came from she. Like it couldn't be a he without she. So like when I be speaking on XX, and when I be speaking on, female situations, I don't just speak from what I channel and from what I understand. I speak from the wisdom of my ancestors, of those around me. They done changed the mind again, right? They go, like, they realize that he ain't always what it's hidden for. He ain't always what it made out to be. And that's why you call me Dawson, which means daughter's son. And that's why I call you Mada, which means mama daddy. So, and Brister means brother sister. So, some people, you live in one world, you see yourself one way, but there are others of us, who see ourselves as whole, and we might feel more comfortable using certain pronouns, but we still see ourselves as whole, because Dawson means that I'm a daughter and a son. So that means that I'm okay with you acknowledging my masculinity, but just don't erase my femininity. Brister is saying brother, sister. I'm okay with you acknowledging my masculinity, but don't erase my femininity. When you try to erase my femininity, you're disrespecting my mother, the grandmother that live in me, the mama that live in me, the great grandma that live in me, and I'll die for mine. You ain't finna disrespect, because when I started doing this, when I started my transition, it wasn't trendy. It wasn't popular. It wasn't safe. Girls was getting beat with bottles and bricks and killed and getting shit shoved up their ass. That's what I came from, my generation. Now, at one time before that, we were celebrated. Then the media started putting out all of this negative stuff, and HIV came out, and people started side-eyeing us. But we used to be celebrated, in the hood. Everybody had, a queer hairdresser, a hairdresser who was feminine, or a choir director who was feminine. We know they was always there. They was up in the church. They was in the hair salon. They was in the barber shop. We studs and queers. We femmes. We always been there. But then the stigma came out and the machine started, dividing us. We started getting divided amongst each other. And then it started to become dangerous for queer people. So when I started my transition, it wasn't popular. It wasn't trendy. They weren't putting us on TV and putting us on shows and giving us our own. We ain't have 100,000 followers on Instagram. It wasn't that. So when I started doing this, it wasn't no popularity contest, but I was willing to die to live in my truth. Every day I stepped outside my door could have been my last day. I might not have made it inside. First of all, as what society would call a young black man or a young black male, there was that danger, because before I started I've always been pretty feminine looking, but some people just, when you go to jail, ain't no she's and he's. You ain't no she, you just he. So when I went to jail buku times when I was young, so they could have choked me out in jail. They could have messed over me in jail. Out of them times when I was, turning tricks to survive, I could have got killed. I'd have had so many guns pulled on me. You know what I'm saying? I'd have had cops to force me to have sex with them. Like, y'all was worried about getting pulled over by a cop. Try getting raped by one. You worried about a cop pulling you over and talking to you crazy, petting and frisking you. Try getting raped by one. Try that. So when I was coming up, that was what was happening to me. But it still didn't stop me from living in my truth. It still didn't stop me from being me. Period. I didn't do this for popularity. I did this because I couldn't live any other way. I couldn't hide. I couldn't live like that. I would have rather died than not be able to be whole. It wasn't enough room manhood wasn't big enough for me. So I had to go ahead and be the full manifestation. A lot of y'all happy with that MAN. I need the whole manifestation. They, them, she, okay. Gag, baby. I need the whole manifestation. You got to give me some room. I need some wiggle room. Ain't no wiggle room up in here. Like, it's too tight up in this box. I can't fit up in here. I got to be my mama and my daddy. You know what I'm saying? And so, and we talk about how society made us like this. How the absence of a mother or the absence of a father. And child, I don't think it was because I had plenty of men around me. I had my stepdaddy, I had my uncles, I had the daddy who was in my life, who raised me, who helped raise me, Hilbert Lewis, the man who I just met recently, Michael Andrews, who live in Oklahoma. Like, I had all type of father figures, so it wasn't the absence of a man. I think it was the one-sided religion for me. If I would have grew up in a spirituality where we celebrated the mother and the father in the church, I think my life might have been different. I think I would have still been whole. But I don't know if I would have felt the need to make as many physical changes if I would have been respected as who I was, because I think the pressure to fit in, it came from the corruption of my spirituality. Like, I think in a different life, if I would have been born into a life where I would have been celebrated as my mother and my father, and I could have been a Dawson and a Brister, and instead of having to be an auntie or uncle, I could have been an auntie, like an uncle auntie. If I could have, if people would have just respected me like that as a child, if I would have, if I could have called myself they, and they would have respected that, and they would have been, and other people would have just respected me as who I was, I don't think I would have felt the need to do some of the things that I've done. Like, it's about survival. We have to survive. And so I was so feminine that I couldn't just present as a boy during the time that I was growing up. I couldn't just be a feminine boy because they would have killed me because of my mouth, you know. And I think like my own people would have killed me. But I think now, because I did so much to transition, and I went so far with my transition, I think when I talk to a lot of men, they see a mother figure, they see their grandmother, they see an auntie, they see a big sister. And so because they did have some respect for the females in their house, they're a little bit more respectful to me. But because I've always been very feminine, and you looking at a man talking to you crazy, I don't give a damn how feminine he is in his soul, you still gonna want to beat this nigga like a man. So I think my transition was necessary for my survival. But if people could have saw me spiritually for who I was as a child, if they would have just saw me, saw my soul, and they wouldn't have been conditioned to just look at my outer shell and treat me based on my outer shell, then who knows? I might have just been, I might not have went and got all this. I don't know. But we don't live in that world, so we don't know. But if I would have been brought up in a church where a man or a male, or someone born with a penis was not considered weaker or considered less than because they were feminine, or or a church where where women or females or XXs did not have to just take on male pronouns in order to get respect. Like literally, you got to become a he in order to get that male privilege. That's why I have so much respect for you, Mada, because you could go get that privilege easy. You know what I'm saying? Because you handsome. You handsome, beautiful, handsome, sexy, like you pretty, but you handsome. Come on, pretty handsome. We need to hybrid that word. How we gonna do that? Pretty some. Come on, pretty some. Pretty some. like the hybrid of pretty handsome. Like you can be pretty and handsome at the same time. Pretty some. Some pretty. You some pretty. Well, yeah, everybody can't be pretty and handsome at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So, but I be telling you all the time, you could have went and got that privilege. You taller than me. What? How tall you is? About 5'11", 6 foot. What? How tall you is? Sexy, slim. You could have went and got that privilege, been in the background, running shit, shot calling. You know what I'm saying? But you held it down. You stuck with the XX. You stuck with the womanhood. Do it all. You know what I'm saying? But well, a lot of them fell off the path, and they was like, no, I got the potential to get this man privilege. I'm about to go get this man privilege. I'm going whole hog. I'm about to be pumping testosterone regularly, taking that testosterone. I'm about to get rid of these titties. I'm about to go on, because I want this privilege. And this the thing. A lot of them go get it. And I think when a lot of females who transition to become men, I think when they first start, I think the intention is to make society a better. I think their intentions initially is to change the world because they've seen the abuse that women have endured, and they understand what XX and females have went through. They understand what feminine beings go through, period. Even if you're born with a penis. Like, I think at first, okay, beauty some. Yay. I think their intentions is good at first, But I think what happens is because testosterone is a powerful drug. Testosterone is a powerful drug. I've had to take testosterone since my sex change, and testosterone will be telling you some shit. And if you taking a lot of it, and it's almost like a steroid. You know what I'm saying? So when you introduce testosterone to the body, and your body start getting all of them urges, and you be wanting to you start becoming real carnal and real based in your flesh. You know what I'm saying? And you just be having urges, and then the next thing you know, um, you hanging around a whole bunch of men because that's your environment, and so you start to forget why you were here. And a lot of times you become the same beast and monster that you've been fighting against. Oh, wait a minute. You 5'6", you shorter than me? I thought you was taller than me. You 5'6"? Damn. I don't know why I'm always, that must be your presence. That must be your damn presence. I always thought you was taller than me. Yes, you did. But yeah, yeah. So I think you just forget, why you started doing this thing. You know what I'm saying? You forget, and then the next thing you know, you start tasting that power and that control, and you forget. And let me tell you, low key, I don't think the real battle in this world is against biological females who identify with womanhood, and biological men who identify with manhood, or biological XYs who identify with manhood, or biological XXs who identify with womanhood. I don't think that's the real fight. I think the ones that are really pulling the strings behind the scenes is trans people who are living in stealth. I think the ones who really calling the shots around here is motherfucking trans people who living in stealth. Trans men who moving in silence and stealth, and trans women who moving in silence and stealth. They around here controlling every fucking thing. As I get closer and closer to this thing, I'm starting to realize it ain't what you think it is. Cause think about this shit. In Muslim culture, females, they cover their face, they quiet most of the time, not a lot of them talk, but they spend so much of their lives soaking in, listening to men talk, seeing how men move, seeing what men do. When they get ready, if they ever decide they want to be a man, they done basically lived half of their life without the world really seeing their face. So now, if they want to start their transition to become a man, they could take all of that stuff off and go and have the surgeries and begin to live as a man. And they done hid that whole identity. You ain't seen their hair, you ain't seen half of their face. So they done had that all that time to hide and observe men. And so now they could step out and say, I'm finna be a man, cut off all their hair, start taking testosterone, working out, get rid of them breasts, and bam, their past identity is erased. Then you got trans women who, a lot of them, they may live as a man and be in front of the camera and be in your face, as a man, this and that, blah, 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 blah. I'm a man, make all of that money, gain all that excess, get that power, and then go and get them surgeries and become a woman and disappear. It's the reverse for them. They go into hiding. So you got this female, this XX, who has lived in hiding as a woman, hiding herself, covering herself, not being seen all of this time in her life. Then she decides she wants to be in front of, she want to go in front of the scene as a man, and she want to talk, she want to do this. He want to do this now because now it's a man. So now he's all in the key, he's in the camera, he in everybody's face. Because you don't know who he was before that, because he was living as a Muslim wife. That'll make a good movie, by the way. I'm giving that away for y'all for free. Because this is an overflowing well, honey. You could take it. It's ideals just keep coming. You can't steal from an endless fountain, boo. I get that one for free. But yeah, and then the trans man, he the trans woman, she been in your face, you know, as a man all this time. Yeah. Then she become a woman. She transitioned. Now she going behind the scenes. She going underground. She working behind the scenes. Them two could be married to each other. Now you have the man that used to be a woman that lived the first part of their life hiding as a woman, subservient and quiet. And you have the man that was in your face the whole first part of their life, and now they don't want to be seen. They just want to stand on side of this man. And those are the kind of entities I think run the world. Those are the kind of entities I think call the shots. I think it's a lot of that going on, and we don't have no idea. Like, as I get closer and closer to this thing, I'm realizing that the variables that I thought were really calling the shots, they really not. Because queer people, you know, two-spirit people, we are very powerful. We are divine. I'm not putting, because I think that everybody has access to their divinity. I think that everybody has masculine and feminine energy in it. But some of us live our whole life being afraid to tap into it. Some of us live our whole life being afraid to access it. And so we don't do the work of being able to wield it, you know, wield it in a way that is really impactful. See, I might not have a lot of money in my banking account, but let me tell you something. If I ever walk into a room, you're going to know I'm there because my energy is strong. Sometimes I make people nervous. Sometimes I make people uncomfortable. So, sweetheart, you can't buy that. You can't buy that type of energy. If I'm in a good mood, when I walk in, I can make everybody happy. It's like the sunshine came in with me. If I'm in a bad mood, you will think it's a storm going on outside. I can bring down the vibration, or I can uplift the vibration. Hey, how you doing? I can and that's a power you can't buy. Money can't buy that. But I just say, let's make that movie. That would be a hard movie. That would be a sickening movie. But so, you know, I be having so many ideas, Manda. But and look, me and you probably could be the main characters, huh? Look, we can write this shit and play the parts, huh? We can write this shit and play the parts, huh? Because you know both of us are multi-talented. Look, write the shit, play the parts, do the soundtrack. do the dress, coordinate the dress, the looks, you know what I'm saying, shoot it, film it, edit it, like all we need is a damn budget. Like they be giving all of these people with no talent a budget. Like give somebody with some actual talent a budget. Like where is the ones with the money? Like where is the budget? Like we could tell some stories that will really, really help to free some people, that will help to liberate people. But you know, they don't want us to be liberated. But this is what I don't like about a lot of our own people, a lot of black people, you know, they be hoarding resources and they put out this bunk ass content to keep us, you know, in at this mediocre phase, you know, in this mediocre thought process, not realizing that if we help to elevate, it would be so much better for a lot of us. Cause I'm telling you, like being in New York sometimes, poverty is real and so many people are being damaged and broken. When I was in Africa, when I lived in a village in Africa, when I lived in Umlazi in South Africa, I people in South Africa have less money and less resources than people in New York. And the children and the people, like they weren't sad. Like these children didn't have shit. Like these children literally outside playing with cardboard boxes, taking caps off of bottle tops off of like Coca-Cola bottles and stuff, and making racing carts and taking string and racing the milk cartons with Coca-Cola caps as wheels, and they racing it down the street like it's a car, like it's like a go-kart. They can't even afford real toys. And these children so fucking happy. And these children be over here with everything, video games, this and that, and they still whining and complaining, still unhappy, still miserable. Oh, they just children. You know, don't treat the children like that. You can't get your child this. I've seen real poverty. I've seen real poverty. And they were happier. I seen people with less who were happier. I know money does not buy happiness, because I seen when I was over there, the lights will go out sometimes all day long. Sometimes the lights will be out for 2 days. The children will be outside. Let the lights and the power go off in America. Let you not be able to charge your cell phone. Let these children not be able to charge their cell phone. And a lot of y'all think giving y'all children more is really helping them. No, what it's doing is making them even more helpless, even more fragile, and even more dependent on the government. Even more dependent, even more of a workhorse to massa. I've seen real poverty. I used to feel so sad for people when they would be begging for change and begging for money over, you know, and I would always be a bleeding heart and just wanting to give money to people. And now I know the resources that New York gives to people. I know the money that some of these metropolitan cities be putting into people. I don't feel sorry. Don't come to me talking about poverty and talking about broke. I done seen people with nothing. I done seen people sleeping on the ground who wake up, their skin look good. They might have ate a slice of bread and a bowl or something, and that was all they had that day. And they still out playing and having fun outside playing and running and playing tag, and happy children. So don't tell me that a whole bunch of material shit make children happy. No, what you're doing is spoiling them and making them, you just preparing them to be puppets. You preparing them to be slaves. You teaching them that they need material things in order to be important, in order to be valuable. No, that's not. You can't tell me. And I'm so thankful that I went to Africa and I got to see this for myself. This ain't something that someone told me. This ain't something I read in a book. This ain't something I saw on YouTube, a video. I was there for 9 months. I saw, yeah, it was some suffering. It was some sadness. It was some people who was experiencing sickness and illness. But a lot of those people were on drugs because there's drugs over there too. A lot of the people you see panhandling and begging for change, it's because they want some crack. Because they want to get high. Now, South African people do drink a little bit more. And I think that's on purpose too. Because, drinking is how people deal with poverty. So you do see a lot of drinking. When they tried to shut down them liquor stores during the pandemic, a couple of them liquor stores got raided. Because they like, now look, but this the gag with South African people. You could shut down the liquor store if you want to. They know how to make it from scratch. They're going to make it at the house. You're going to get you some of that moonshine. You can get you some of that homemade wine. Get you a homemade drink. Cause the only thing I like about the homemade drinks, for some reason, if you drink too much of it, you start to get for me, I started to get little boils and shit. I was like, I don't know what it is, Eddie, but maybe it's maybe the homemade wine is trying to purge something out of your body, trying to purge some impurities, because it ain't nothing but fruit and stuff that they let ferment. They use yeast. Sometimes they make it with yeast and pineapples, and I forgot what else they use to make it. But when they make it with the pineapples, it'd be good as hell. I sometimes I was just like, child, I'm just gonna go ahead and get this bowl, child, because I'm gonna get me. But it really just kind of relax you. I never really got drunk, drunk, you could get drunk off a few Long Island iced teas, but it does mellow you out. It does so, but they very resourceful. Them South African people in the village is very resourceful. So you could take away their wine, they're gonna find another way to get their buzz in it. But I started this video talking about Bobby Likes, and I started this video talking about Bobby Likes and talking about Tasha K, just to say, a lot of that's distractions. We have to be clear. I was triggered by what Tasha K said, but I'm not going to stop following her. I'm not going to stop watching her videos because, Tasha K ain't never professed not to be ignorant. She's that's why where she at, because she's ignorant and proud. She called herself a wino. So, that's why I titled this video, The Head Wino. That's what you call yourself. So, her, and I can't really feel bad for Bobby Likes, because Bobby Likes is a clout chaser, and when you step in the ring with people who you already know gonna go below the belt, who you already know gonna hit you where it hurt, then you need to be ready for that. But one thing I want to say, and I'm gonna say this again, before you read somebody about having dirty blood, check and make sure it ain't your soul that needs the surgery. Because it's a pill for that. It's a pill for the dirty blood. Because you could take that pill, honey, and I could bite and scratch you 89 times and you ain't finna get nothing. HIV is more manageable than cancer. HIV is easier to manage than diabetes. They got it now where you could take a shot once a damn month. And they're trying to say you might just take the shot once every 2 months. Okay? People got to take insulin every fucking day. You got to stick yourself. You got to be uncomfortable every fucking day. So I don't know. Then if the shit go to the left, you could be on dialysis. So people talking about biting and scratching, it's a lot of more stuff out there that's doing more damage than HIV nowadays. And like I said, if a person is undetectable, they could bite, scratch, kick, punch, draw blood. Child, you're not about to get nothing but a scratch and a bite. So we could stop spreading the misinformation. It's finna be 2022. Black people need to stop with that bullshit because that's just ignorance and it make y'all look stupid. Then why it always be the dumb people with all the money? Because the dude who was on a video with her was talking about how he got more money than Bobby Likes. But you sitting on that live saying all this dumb shit. So I know you can't be smart. So what is it? Your family got money? Did you come from money? What's the tea? Where your coins come from? I can always be the dumbest ones with all the coins. Brains is not a criteria for wealth. Obviously. It doesn't. You do not have to. There are so many examples of idiots who pockets are swole. Like, you do not have to be smart to have a lot of money in America. You just have to be comfortable with selling out, tap dancing, cooning, doing all type of acts of puppetry, and you will make coins. You do not have to be super intelligent. You do not have to be really, really, really smart. You just have to be good at being a motherfucking dancing doll, a good old puppet. And I'm telling you, it's cute to live comfortable and to live lavish in this life, but I don't want I would not I wouldn't like Tasha K said them $75,000 ain't nothing for her. But sweetheart, I wouldn't want Tasha K's legacy. Like, if I gotta have her legacy to have her coins, I'm good. And that's how I look at a lot of people. Like, what's your legacy? Like, what will people remember most about you? Like, when people talk about you, when people say your name, the people that do know you, the people that do know you, the people that love you, and the people that will keep your memory alive, what will they say about you? What will they be saying? And legacy is so important to me. Legacy is a more valuable currency than money. What are these people going to be saying about me when I die? Yeah, it's going to be some people calling me a punk. Yeah, it's going to be some people saying I was a faggot. Yeah, it's going to be some people saying, oh, they had AIDS. Yeah, it's going to be some people saying, oh, they was a prostitute. Yeah, it's going to be some people saying it was a crackhead. It's going to be a lot of things that's going to be said about me. But I guarantee you, that won't be the main things that people will be saying about me. And I've made sure of that consistently, because I didn't even know this. But one time somebody told me, and I didn't even know I was like preachy like that, but somebody told me, the thing that I know about you is that you always be preaching. Like, I don't think I preach like that. And then I really just thought about my life and I was like, so, like, even when I was at my lowest low, like, even when I was in my darkest hours, And I was like really, really out there in my addiction. That's what people were saying about me, that I was preachy. Like I go into the studio to make music, and the guy who produces my music, he said, I could tell you from Louisiana, cause you always be preaching. Like, I don't I don't think that I preach it. Like I think that I'm just talking. He told me that I sound like Lil Boosie when I rap, and I don't take that as a I didn't take it as an insult because low key Boosie, I used to like Boosie before all of this stuff started happening with Lil Nas and stuff. You know, I love the way Boosie rap. I like Lil Boosie. I used to like Hurricane Chris. Um, Snoop Doggy Dogg, of course, Tupac, Biggie Smalls. But I think that just out of rapping technique and style, I've always been very fascinated by Boosie and Hurricane Chris. Like I like the way they sound when they rap. You know, Boosie sound like somebody auntie. So I've always lived for Boosie. So, but when he started with all of this shit with Lil Nas, like I couldn't get into the music no more. And I don't feel like he's a. I like T. I used to like Ti too, but I don't feel like they've evolved lyrically enough for me. I feel like um, I feel like Lil Boosie panders to a certain crowd, and I think he does that because he's institutionalized. And one way to stay stuck in the quicksand is to just like be really, really institutionalized. And so Boosie's music doesn't give me what I need anymore. At one time when I was out there, and I was really, just into trap music, and trap music was healing for me. Trap music hasn't been um my shit since I like the way she rock her hips and wave and sip. She rock her hips and Halle Berry, Halle Berry, Halle Berry. Like that was my wave. Like that's what I like. Boom, 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 boom. That was when I was like, that was when I was really into trap music. Like that was when trap music was doing it for me. Like, but now trap music don't really do it for me no more. So like I liked it on I'm at the bartender. Ooh, you looking for me? I like the T-Pain. I like the DJ Khaled. I used to, like I was really into trap music then, but like trap music doesn't really speak to me anymore. A lot of music don't speak to me anymore. I can still listen to some of it, but it just doesn't do for me what it used to do for me. Just like gospel music. Like when I listen to gospel music, I have to change the words because I'm tired of he saw the best in me. He made a way. He did this. He did. I'm tired of doing that with y'all. So, that's why I just make my own music. And it's better now. Before I get ready to get off this live, I'm going to tell y'all, I'm finna tell y'all some tea. It's the holidays. And I don't know if she going to see this, but me and Empathy, TS Baby Mama, we started speaking again yesterday. And people who really know me, y'all know that we was really close, and we fell out at the end of um we fell out at the end of 2020 when I got back from Africa. And it was a mess, and both of us played a part, you know. Um I was a little confused because when I saw her, she was giving fine trade teas, and I had slightly lived. And I mean, you have to, not trying to make excuses for my behavior, but I was just coming out of a relationship that I had been in for 9 months and in Africa with Siabunga. And I was trying to gravitate to something that I felt safe with, somebody that I knew me. And so I was being playful, with her. Um, she's not no baby. She 18 years old. She ain't 24 years old. I'm 14 years older than her. Fuck. I'm 44, so she 30. So I wasn't messing with no child, even though she be running around here looking like a child with unicorns and shit on. She's still grown. So I did flirt. I was on that testosterone and I was flirting with her. But I had moved on. Like I was messing with this boy. And the boy came over and she started embarrassing me in front of the boy and clowning me in front of the boy. Like it was just a whole bunch going on. We was clashing because uh, TS baby mama. We both Gemini, so we both masculine signs, and it was just clash of the titans. I wanted the last word. She wanted the last word. I felt like because I was the one who was contributing the most financially, and I was the oldest, that I should have gotten a little bit more respect. And I still feel like that. That has not changed. But I should have managed, like I should not have um made her feel uncomfortable um after I was confused by the kiss. Because when she kissed me with them big old juicy soft lips, and she had all that hair all over her, and she was just looking, she was giving me old sexy boy tease. I should have, stayed in my elder role. I should not have stepped off of my pedestal and flirted with her and given her ammunition. Um, we probably would have still fell out. We probably would have still argued. But I take responsibility for that. I take responsibility for flirting with her and doing things like that. I take responsibility for that. But I think that we needed space. I think that we needed time. So yesterday, I hit her up a couple of months ago to talk to see where she was at, and we got into it again. And yesterday, she hit me up, and it was a holiday season, and she sent me like a little video of a song she made, and it was really positive. Like I liked it, the song, and so I responded back, and so we just started messaging each other backwards and forwards. So we had been messaging each other all day yesterday, and we actually had been working on a song for a long time that we never finished, and we actually did the song yesterday. Like so like we used the app, and it was just so healing. Like like it was really really healing. So I don't know what 2022 holds for us, but I hope that we can put the past behind us. I'm definitely not trying to be in a physical relationship with her, and I want to establish those boundaries. She is a brilliant artist. She's very talented creatively, and I can't take that from her. I love making music with her. I love creating with her. Um, and I miss that bond. I miss that connection. I miss um, her playfulness and her eyes, and you know um, her perception. I miss that Texas gutter. Like I miss that. Like that's like a part of me. Like and I'm sure there are parts of me that she misses. So hopefully we can get to a better place in 2022. We're not rushing it. But it felt good. Like it was just like we picked up where we left off at. Like it was like no time had been. It was like literally no time had passed. Like we was just like I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the winter solstice. Maybe the ancestors said y'all just needed a break from each other. But we didn't even need to talk to each other. Like we literally did not call each other and talk to each other. We were just texting each other backwards and forwards. She told me what she needed me to do for the song, and I was like, okay. And we were sending each other pictures, and it was just like nothing. Like we didn't even bring up the past. Like we didn't even bring it up. And I think that's a beautiful thing when you could just pick up where you left off at, and you don't need to rehash this and go through all this and say that. You just let's just keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? And let's just do what we love. And let's just let's not beat the dead horse and be stuck in the past. Like that was then. This is now, and let's do what we love. Let's come together and do what we love. And what we love is creating. So, we worked on the song. I've been listening to the song all, like I've been dancing and just been I've been in here like this. Like I miss that. I miss that bond with her, and I miss those feelings and that energy. So I'm thankful to the ancestors, for healing during the holidays. And so we had an ugly falling out. um, and I try not to be like public with my falling outs. I try to be discreet with them, but she wasn't here for that, so it was real loud up in here, it was real nasty in this bitch. So yeah, it was one of those. But I'm not there anymore. Like I said earlier, the stone has rolled away. So I'm glad that we're in a different space now. I'm thankful for that. I look forward to what the future holds. And I'm hoping that 2022 is going to be a year to build, solidify and network and take it to the next level. Amen, a woman. So with that being said, I think I've ranted enough. I've been on here an hour and almost an hour and a half, almost 90 minutes. Um, I don't have no candle here. I'm still in Minneapolis. The snow is starting to melt. The sun then came out. But yeah, I'm still here in Minneapolis. I'm gonna be here till the end of the week, and then I'm going back to Brooklyn. Then I'm getting geared up to go somewhere else because I'm traveling during these holidays. Getting around. You heard me. But yeah, down but the that I say quick is spinning and turning in Ghani Iyanko Kalukalo, which means I am a child of God goddess. And if I am, you are. We light this candle. Let's pretend that it's a candle because y'all know I ain't got no lighter or no matches here. A girl ain't had no weed in about 2 weeks. Um, I light this candle to guide home the ancestors who have transitioned this world today and every other day since we've been away from our altars. Um, this candle represents the past, the present, and the future. And as we blow out this candle on the physical plane, it becomes even stronger on the spiritual plane, guiding our ancestors on to the next part of the journey. So hopefully I had a fire sign on here, because if I had at least one fire sign on here, y'all could represent that fire. Amen, a woman. I want to give a shout out to my mind that who came on here. You know what I'm saying? It took it to another place, and we had a conversation that needed to be had. So thank you, Mind, for coming on here and taking me out of trigger mode and putting me in teaching mode. Amen, a woman. I love y'all. Have a happy holidays. Yeah. And have a happy and amazing and wonderful and marvelous new year. 2022 is coming. Amen, a woman. Lelem lela. Mwah.